please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
The stock in focus. Remember, the stock had corrected from the recent peak, but in the last month or so, the stock had seen a bit of a rally. To understand what's going on with the business, we have Mr. Nikhil Nanda, the MD of the company, who joins us on the phone line. Hi, Mr. Nanda. Thanks so much, sir, for joining in. Well, at the end of the first quarter, the street was very disappointing because your revenues were down by nearly around 30%, primarily because that one client, you had got no business really from that one client that constituted around 30% of your revenues. What's going on that front? Is that client back? Are you hopeful of getting some business from that one client?
Recovered about 50% of the volume with them. In fact, they have recovered their volumes, and we've got about 50% of the order book what we were doing earlier. And there's a growth trend as we see month on month. So I think a couple of months down the line, we should be back to where we were at the end of last year.
So how soon could you go back to 100% of order recovery from this client?
Yes.
Your target?
I think next couple of months.
Next couple of months. And just to get the numbers right, this client was 30% of your total revenues?
That's right.
And 50% is back as we speak?
Absolutely.
All right. So in the first quarter, we have seen that there was a degrowth of around 30%. Your annual report says that you're looking at double-digit revenue growth for this year. Is that still on the cards after seeing a 30% downtick? That would mean the next 3 quarters will have to be fantabulous. You're guiding for that. Are you confident of achieving that?
Well, as I mentioned in my last conversation also, we've very strongly working with 2 new customers who are big companies, and we've developed products for them. So I foresee a huge change in quarter 3 and quarter 4 coming along. And we are still pretty confident we should be able to have a double-digit annualized growth.
Okay, if you annualize it, double-digit. Okay, your Q1 numbers, back to that again. You're saying that client which had 30% of its business had 0 revenues. But it appears then the rest 70% of your business also didn't see much growth.
Yes.
How have the rest 70% of your business shaped up so far in the quarter? Because in Q1 it had no growth. It didn't decline, but it didn't see a growth. How has it been in Q2?
See, there has been a marginal growth.
Okay.
Not a substantial growth in the other customers, and that's the reason part of our the annual growth plan is to add 2 new customers, 2 new big clients in the current year, which is going to add
how much
to
could
the
these
utilization.
How much could these 2 new clients add? What is your own estimate?
Well, I would say to begin with about 5 to 8% in the revenue, but they have the potential to grow up to 20%. And that would utilize a substantial part of our enhanced capacity, which we have in place now.
Okay, interesting. So for this year, if you look at a double-digit growth, you should be in the range of around 155 crores?
I would not like to put a number to that, but I would stick to my same statement that we'll have a double-digit growth minimum.
You're talking about these 2 new clients. So what's the long-term, by the FY20 target for you then in terms of revenues? Are you looking at a number in excess of what, 180 crores, 200 crores? Is that on the cards? Because you're talking about a client coming back. You're talking about a couple of new clients as well, Mr. Nanda.
Between 3 to 5 years, I see doubling the growth from where we are today.
Okay,
next 3 to 5 years.
Okay, 3 to 5 years is quite a wide range, 3 years or 5. Back to these 2 new clients, which can immediately contribute about 5 to 8% to your overall revenues. Are you ready for commercial production by the end of Q2? How soon will you start supplying? And has the term sheet been signed?
No. So what happens is most of the 2 new take about 6 months of accelerated stability study. That ends only around December. So whatever numbers we're going to see is going to come around only in quarter 4.
Okay. And have you signed a deal with these 2 clients? Or will that happen at the end of December?
Yes, we are in the process. Once the products get finalized and stabilized, that's when it happens.
So there is still a risk that it may not take off?
Well, the products are approved, and we've been doing this business for 20 years, so there's very little probability that the products won't do well or the products won't pass the stability test.
Mr. Nanda, you've been talking, you're saying that in the next couple of years as well, things are going to look up. You're saying business will look good from here on. Promoter holding, it's at around the 35-40% odd, if I'm not mistaken. Do you have plans of increasing your stake? Because if you just pull up a last 1 year chart of your stock, the stock is halved actually. If you are so confident about a business, will you increase some stake?
Well, I'm already in the process of doing that. And you will, once it happens, the appropriate announcements would be in place.
In the process would be what? You have issued warrants to yourself? Are you buying from the open market? Give us some more clarity.
I think the right way of doing it is through a SEBI announcement or a stock exchange announcement as and when it happens. And that's what I'll stick to.